Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankajanabhaya Nama Pankajamadine Nama Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 1, entitled Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra, reading from verses text 14 through text 19. Text 14. Tata shvetar yukte mahati syandane sthitau madhava pandavaschaiva Divyau Shankau Pradatmatau. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Text 15. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjayaha Paundram Dadmo Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and the performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Paundra. Text 16 through 18. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kuntiputro Yudhishthiraha Nakula Sahadevascha Sughosho Manipushpako Kashyascha Parameshwasa Shikhandi Cha Maharataha Drishtadyamna Viratascha Satyakishcha Parajitaha Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvashaha Prithivipate Shobhadrascha Mahabahu Shankham Dadmo Prithak Prithak. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sughosha and the Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, the Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shell. Saghosho dhartarashtranam hridayani vyadarayat nabhascha prithivim chaiva tumulo abhyanunadayan. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swaminiti Namne Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namne Namah Acharya Padaya Nithai Kripa Pradayane Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Grama Tarine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, these few verses that we read, previously we had read that how Pitama Bhishma had declared the start of the war by blowing his conch shell. Now, as opposed to that, the first verse we read today was text 14. The conch shell of Krishna and Arjuna being blown has been described, but there is a very beautiful adjective that has been added on to the word conch shell, which is transcendental. So none of the other conch shells are addressed in this way. They are just regular conch shells. But Krishna's and Arjuna's conch shell here is being given a very distinct difference is being offered here, which is by calling them to be transcendental. These are transcendental conch shells. And there's a very clear analogy that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out, which Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, that it is clear indication given here that the very fact that Krishna is present on the side of the Pandavas, he is there with Arjuna, that the battle is going to be won by the Pandavas. It is being declared. This is the declaring point, as like how it is being said. Because Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that Jayastu Pandaputranam Yesham Pakshe Janardhana, that wherever Janardhana, Krishna, is on whoever side, because he is on the side of the Pandavas, therefore the Pandavas are bound to be victorious in the battle. So there is no doubt about this. And also their chariot, the chariot that was, where the two transcendental friends were sitting on, that chariot is also being glorified here. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that how this chariot was given by the fire god Agni Devata. It is explained that one time Agni Dev was actually roaming in the forest of Khandava Prastha, and he wanted to, quench his thirst of, burning down the forest, but he was not able to, because there was a serpent, King Takshaka, that was residing in that forest, and Indra was protecting that particular serpent. Somehow there was a clash. So it is explained that Agni actually took shelter of Krishna and Arjuna when he saw these two friends roaming around in the forest. Agni Dev took shelter of both these friends, and then Krishna and Arjuna actually summoned the water god Varuna, and they actually together laid an attack on Indra, and they defeated Indra, and then Agni was able to satisfy his thirst of burning down the forest, and he was very happy, and even Indra realized his little mistake of fighting with Krishna and Arjuna. So what in what Agnidev did, because he was so happy with what Arjuna did, for Arjuna and Krishna did. So what he did was that he gifted Arjuna a very beautiful celestial chariot. It was drawn by 4 horses, and Srila Prabhupada mentions that this chariot, because it was given by Agnidev, and more importantly, the charioteer of this celestial chariot is Krishna himself. Therefore, this chariot indicated that it was capable of conquering all sides, wherever it was drawn in the 3 worlds. That was the potency of this chariot. And a very interesting thing that I was hearing in a lecture recently was that after the end of the battle of Mahabharata, when the battle got over and the Pandavas were victorious, at that time, it was time for Arjuna to get off the chariot finally. And so what Krishna actually told Arjuna, that Arjuna, you get down first from the chariot. So Arjuna immediately obeyed Krishna, and that is one thing that Arjuna, after he heard the BhagavatGita, he would very seldom question Krishna. He had that faith in Krishna that whatever Krishna is saying is the absolute truth. So he did not doubt in Krishna's words, and he immediately got off from the chariot. And as soon as Arjuna first got off, then when Krishna came down the chariot self, it lit up in fire, it lit up in flames, and it was just, reduced to ashes, that chariot. And Arjuna was shocked, and he, fell at Krishna's lotus feet, and he said, how did this happen? What happened just now? And then Krishna said, see, what happened is during the battle, many times Brahmastras and so many different, powerful weapons were whirled at you and at this chariot. But because I was sitting in this chariot, the chariot had a protection shield around it. So therefore, I first told you to get off the chariot, and then I came down, and now because I got off the chariot lit up in flames. The Krishna is so merciful that how he is the protector and the servant of his devotees, literally, that how Krishna takes so much pleasure in serving his own devotees. I mean, taking on the position of a charioteer is not an ordinary thing. It is not a very respectable position. Being a charioteer means that you are ready to take on the kicks coming from the warrior whom you are driving. Because what happens is, actually this reminds me of the past time when Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring South India. At that time he came across this Brahmana who was reading the BhagavatGita upside down. And he had tears in his eyes, and people who were passing by, they were ridiculing this old Brahmana, and they were mocking at him, and they were, just taking him very, very lightly and literally making fun of this old Brahmana devotee. And Lord Chaitanya came up to this old Brahmana and said, my dear Brahmana, you are reading the BhagavatGita upside down, and you have tears in your eyes. Why are you crying? So then this Brahmana replied to to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that actually I am an illiterate. I do not know how to read and write. But my spiritual master has instructed me to read the Gita every day. So what I do is I try to see the pictures in the Gita, and I try to read something, but I know that I'm not reading it correctly because I'm obviously holding the Bhagavad Gita upside down. That's what you are telling me. I didn't even know that I'm holding the Bhagavad Gita upside down because I don't know how to read. But the thing is that I just try to see the pictures. And then Mahaprabhu said, okay, I understand that, but why are you crying? Why are you crying? So then this old Brahmana told Mahaprabhu that I'm just thinking how merciful the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. That He actually is so merciful that He is ready to take on, although He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is ready to take on an insignificant position of being, His devotee's charioteer. Because the charioteer, when a person becomes a charioteer, it is not a very palatable position. Because the warrior whom the charioteer is driving, when especially it's a warrior, the warrior doesn't have the time, when they are in the middle of the battle, they don't have the time to tell the chariot driver to go left, right, or straight. How is the way that they communicate with each other? This is how they communicate. That if the warrior wants to go left, the warrior with his foot, he actually kicks the left shoulder of the charioteer. If he wants to go right, the warrior kicks the right shoulder of the charioteer. And if he wants to keep going straight, he kicks near the shoulder, the center of the shoulder of the charioteer. So when Arjuna came to Krishna to request him to become his chariot driver, Krishna knew exactly what he was getting into. Krishna knew that he is going to get kicked on by his dear devotee and friend Arjuna. But still, Krishna took on that, menial position of being the chariot driver of his dear devotee Arjuna. And this Brahmana told Lord Chaitanya that just thinking of how merciful Krishna is, that to what extent Krishna can go to serve his devotees, where can I find such a, merciful Lord? Where can I find a more merciful personality like Krishna, who is ready to get the kicks from his own devotee, but yet to serve him like this? This is so amazing of my Lord, and thinking about the Lord's mercy in this way, I cannot stop my tears. I am crying. So Lord Chaitanya hugged that Brahmana and he said that, my dear Brahmana, you are the only one who have understood the real purport of the BhagavatGita. You call yourself illiterate, but you are the greatest, scholar who has actually understood the proper meaning of the BhagavatGita. So this is how Lord Chaitanya glorified that illiterate Brahmana. So the main thing that we also need to understand when we read the Bhagavad Gita is that we're talking about Krishna. We need to know what is Krishna, what are his tendencies, what is his nature, what are his innumerable qualities, what are his innumerable pastimes, so that we can truly appreciate each and every word that Krishna is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita literally means the song of God. Bhagavat Gita, the song of God. So whatever Krishna is speaking, this is coming out from the lotus mouth of Krishna himself. Gita Amritam. This is the Gita Amrita that is coming down from this lotus mouth of Sri Krishna himself. So we should be very, 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 very fortunate to be able to understand the actual purport of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Varga. So when we actually depend on the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, then these purports, these different, verses, all of this become very, very clear to us by their mercy. It is all revealed to us. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. It is said when we glorify Srila Prabhupada every day at Guru Puja, when we sing Sri Guru Charana Padma, that Guru Puja song, we are saying to Srila Prabhupada that Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, that it's only by the mercy of the spiritual master that actually the transcendental knowledge is actually revealed in our heart. It is never by any kind of scholaristic achievements, or if you're a PhD or if you're an MBA or whatever, material degrees we may hold, but, Krishna can be known only by devotion. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. That only by devotion can we know Krishna. And when we strive to know Krishna in that way, then by the mercy of the spiritual master, this divine knowledge is automatically revealed in our heart. That is the glory of the spiritual science. That is how spiritual science works. So here we read in text 15 the names of the transcendental conch shells of Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhima. Panchajanyam Rishikesha. Here Krishna is addressed as Rishikesha, and in the purport Srila Prabhupada, he is giving a very deep meaning that why here Krishna is addressed as Rishikesha. Rishikesha means he is the master and the owner of all the senses. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that we, the living entities, we are part and parcels of Krishna, and therefore all of our, all of the senses that we are having right now, they are also, in that sense, they are also part and parcel of Krishna. So the Lord, who is situated in the hearts of all the living entities, he is the actual person who is directing their senses. But he directs the senses of the devotee in proportion to the level of their surrender. So it's very important that, to understand this actual point, that how much Krishna will take control of our lives, how much are we allowing Krishna to be the master of our senses. How much are we really saying, Krishna, yes, you be Rishikesha and control my life. We want to be the master of our senses. That is what we want to do, generally speaking. Even in the case of Draupadi, we see that how she was trying to, protect herself for a very, very long time. She was going here, going there, asking her husbands. Then she asked the king, asked the gurus, asked the grandfather. Everywhere she went and asked help. And in the end, she tried herself also to control the situation. And when she saw that she nor anybody present over there, nobody can help her, then at that time, she completely raised her hands in full surrender to Krishna, and she shouted out, Hey Govinda, hey Krishna, please come and help me. So based on the level of our surrender, Krishna will choose to reciprocate with us. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. That as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly, Krishna says in the BhagavatGita. So if we are surrendering to Krishna only 20%, then Krishna will reciprocate with us 20%. But if we are able to surrender to Krishna 100%, then he will reciprocate with us 100%. Like we see in the case of Srila Prabhupada. The life of Srila Prabhupada is the way that, Prabhupada has shown in his own life how he has surrendered 100% to Krishna. And Krishna has taken care of every particular thing in Srila Prabhupada's life. Otherwise, can anybody imagine that at the age of 70, when people actually take retirement, Srila Prabhupada took up a life's mission? He traveled on a cargo ship all the way to US. And when we come to US, what had happened? We knew, okay, where we are going. We had an address. We knew exactly who was coming to receive us. We knew where we are going to stay. We knew what we are going to do over here when we come over here. So without knowing any of this, would we have even dared to come to a foreign place like this? Especially at that stage of our life when we are 70 years old? I do not think so. Nobody will dare to do such a thing. But Srila Prabhupada did. Srila Prabhupada, when he got on that cargo ship, he did not even know where he is going to stay once the ship docks in Boston Harbor. He did not know where he would stay. He just had one name, Gopal Agarwal. That an assurance was there. Those days there was no phone, nothing like that was, not so easy. So Srila Prabhupada just had faith, immense faith and complete surrender to Sri Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada suffered so much even on that journey, coming on Jaladuta, coming and reaching the US. He suffered 2 heart attacks on the road. In the ocean. And he knew that if a third one would come, then he would not survive it. But still, Srila Prabhupada didn't give up hope. 1 full year after Srila Prabhupada arrived in the US, for 1 full year, Prabhupada went through a lot of struggle, lot of hardship. But he did not give because he said that, no, I have come here to fulfill the instructions of my Guru. Maharaj has instructed me to preach in the English-speaking world. So I have come here. I will try to do my best. That was the determination of Srila Prabhupada. So how much surrender Srila Prabhupada has? And then within 11 years of his life, he established 103 temples all over the world. He made people from such walks of life became devotees. Isn't this inconceivable? Isn't this a miracle? But only when a person is completely surrendered, 100% to Krishna, then Krishna gives this kind of reciprocation. So we know that how Srila Prabhupada is none other than, Lord Chaitanya. He talks about his Senapati Bhakta, his commander-in-chief. We know by Srila Prabhupada's activities that Srila Prabhupada is that personality, Mahaprabhu's Senapati Bhakta. So, but how he came here, because Srila Prabhupada, what he was able to do is because how he was able to surrender completely. His senses, he surrendered everything to the Lord of the senses, Rishikesh. So like this, Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain in the purport that for every activity of Krishna, he has different names. Like Prabhupada gives example here that his name is Madhusudana because he killed the demon named Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. His name is Deva because he appeared as the son of Vasudev. His name is Devaki Nandana or Jashoda Nandana because he appeared as the sons of Devaki and Jashoda. Like this, Krishna, based on his different number of activities, he has innumerable names. And Srila Prabhupada also goes on to explain in the report that how Arjuna also has been addressed here in this verse as Dhananjaya, because he helped his elder brother Yudhishthir Maharaj in collecting wealth, which was required to make different sacrifices and all that. Arjuna was the one who actually went ahead and collected all this work from different parts of the world and brought it back to Maharaj Yudhishthir. And here also Bhima is explained as, he is addressed as Vrikodara. Vrikodara means he is the voracious eater and the performer of Herculean tasks. So how Bhima is definitely a voracious eater. He's big eater, and therefore he can perform Herculean tasks. He was the son of, he was the son of Vayudev, and he also killed many demons like Bakasura. He killed Hidimb. So many different demons Bhima has killed. So like this, Bhima's conch shell is also glorified here in this verse, called as Poundra. Then in text 16 through 18, the other Pandavas like Yudhishthir Maharaj, Nakul and Sahadev, their conch shells are also glorified. Ananta Vijaya is the conch shell of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Shughosha is of Nakula, and Sahadeva's is Mani Pushpaka. So one very important point to be noted here is that only Krishna's and the 5 Pandavas, only their conch shells' names are being given here. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually points out that this was also a clear indication that only these 6 personalities, of course, Krishna and the 5 Pandavas, they would be the only people living by the end of the battle. Nobody else would survive the battle of Kurukshetra. Everybody else would have been gone, and nobody else would have been living by the end of the battle of Kurukshetra. So that this was also another indication that only the Pandavas were the only ones who survived, and that's why their conch shells are the only ones who have the names. Of course, here in this verse, the other Kshatriyas on the side of the Pandavas have been described. And then text 19 explains that the blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So when everyone was blowing their conch shell on the side of the Kauravas, there was no shattering of hearts on the side of the Pandavas. Nobody was scared. Nobody was feeling disheartened. Rather, it happened the other way, that when the Pandavas and the side of the Pandavas started blowing the conch shell, it shattered the hearts of Duryodhana and his brothers. Everyone was really scared by this uproarious and tumultuous sound. So, again, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that this occurrence is not mentioned, like this shattering of hearts on the side of the Pandavas when Bhishma Dev was blowing his conch shell or anyone was blowing their conch shell. But this is happening because the Pandavas have immense faith in Krishna, and because of their immense faith in Krishna and Krishna being present on the side of Dharma, that is why also the side of the Kauravas had a heart-shattering experience on the blowing of the conch shell. So with this, we'll end here for today. So if there's any questions or comments, we can take that now. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, my question was,
yes,
Krishna knew that the role of a charioteer is this, and even when Arjuna was given the knowledge of BhagavatGita, and he knew that for in the battlefield, he will have to kick Krishna on the shoulder. So how did he accepted to do that? Even though he knew that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
Right. Well, see, the charioteer's role is also beyond that, because Arjuna always wanted the presence of Krishna with him. Although he knew that, Krishna is taking on this role, and, because when in the midst of a battle, the only constant companion of a warrior is that of his own weapons and is that of the charioteer. There's nobody else present with the warrior. The warrior cannot take a friend with him on the chariot. He can't take anybody else on the chariot with him. So Arjuna knew what he was asking Krishna to do. He knew that very well. But that was the only option Arjuna had, because Arjuna knew that if Krishna is not present with him on the entire battle, during the entire battle, if Krishna is not there with him, then it's impossible for Arjuna to even fight that battle. So, he knew that he needed Krishna's presence by his side at all times. And this was the only way that he could do it.
Also mentioned in the class that the level of commitment we give to Krishna, it's like if we do 20%, we get 20% from Krishna also. And I had also heard from somewhere that if we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 100 steps towards us.
Yes.
So I find it a bit contradictory. Can you please explain?
Well, it's not difficult to understand that. Because when it is said that is the most merciful nature of Krishna. That yes, if we surrender to Krishna 10%, he will do 10% reciprocation to us. But if we come, like one step moving towards Krishna, if we show our desire to Krishna, like imagine, what did Draupadi do? She just surrendered to Krishna, right? But Krishna was not in Hastinapur at that time. He was not anywhere near, but he actually appeared on the spot and he came and did what he was doing. So he was actually doing more than 100% of what he's doing his 100% also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is not that, so Krishna's 100%, or rather to say that, when we put in our 10%, Krishna also puts in his equivalent of 10%, which is, like Vamana Dev's step. 3 steps is equal to covering the entire universe.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So that is Krishna's steps. So it will always be more. It will definitely be more, especially in Kartik month. Krishna is actually looking for an excuse to give mercy. He is looking for an excuse to give mercy. Krishna is, we need to understand the position of Krishna. Krishna is like that father who has brought us to Disneyland, and Krishna is just waiting that, when will my child realize that this Disneyland is not his home, and he'll get dizzy from all the rides, and he'll come to me and say, Papa, I really want to go home now. So Krishna is that father who is waiting patiently for us to turn to him and say, Papa, please take me home with you now. I'm now fed up of this Disneyland. I vomited on the rides. I'm not having a good time right now. I've seen everything. Done, deal, gone. I want to go home now. Let's go. So Krishna is waiting for that. So when the son comes and tells that to the dad is the most happiest person to take the son back home. So that is Krishna.